Hello, everyone, and Happy New Year. We start 2021 with bright eyes towards all the possibilities this year has. We have a very special guest today that we'll talk about. He came to us early on in the pandemic. It's Congressman Darren Soto, our favorite congressman. And like our members in our mission statement, we are champions for business and community. Well, Darren's been a champion for us, and we want to thank Disney for sponsoring today's webcast. So with all the pleasantries out of the way, let's get to a conversation with Congressman Soto. Welcome, Congressman.
Thanks for having me, John. It's great to get to speak to both the Chamber and Kissimmee and Osceola and to your members.
We appreciate it. So we are finishing out the last Congress, or did we already make the transition into the new Congress? I know it's happening this week. Do you want to talk to us about timing and where that stands and some of the exciting week you're having up there in D.C.?
Sure. In accordance with our Constitution, January 3rd is when we all reconvene for the new Congress, the 117th Congress. We were sworn in last night. Speaker Pelosi was elected once again as Speaker of the House of Representatives. Today, we're going over our rules package, which includes key issues like making permanent our Diversity and Inclusion Office, amending the motion to recommit, and also allowing House members to co-sponsor Senate bills now, among other reforms. So we're going through that rigmarole today, and we will see the Electoral College count later this week.
And I know there's been a lot of headlines on that. So we appreciate you, though, being with us this morning. And when we last visited, it was over the summer, I believe, and we were in the throes of the pandemic thinking that we just needed to get through these early days and life would be better, but we're still in the thick of it, which required, of course, a second stimulus package. And so wanted to learn more about how that, what's included in that, how that went, and this particular in this for businesses and individuals, what may be included to make sure they're paying attention to.
Sure. As a member of the Bipartisan Problem Solvers Caucus, as early as October, we started working in the Bipartisan Problem Solvers Caucus, the only bipartisan caucus made up of over 20 Democrats, 20 Republicans, local Representative Stephanie Murphy is also in this group, on a $908 billion compromise package. We worked with a bipartisan collection of senators, and over the course of a lot of legislative jujitsu between November and December, we finally were able to get to a compromise package that passed into law just a few days ago, as President Trump ultimately ended up signing it. Now, it has a couple very key provisions. First and foremost, for businesses, particularly small businesses, we re-up the Paycheck Protection Program with $400+ billion in new funding. If you didn't get a Paycheck Protection Program loan last time, you are eligible for one now. If you got a loan last time and you have 25% reduction in revenue and 300 or less employees, you can also apply now for a second round. So you're going to want to work with your bank, with your credit union, or other online financial institution. We know that with the vaccines just starting to roll out, I just got my second shot today. It's going to be a couple months before we really see tourism come back to normal, our biggest industry. We have Disney obviously sponsoring this very call today. You know, we're looking 3-6 months, things starting to get better. And as we get to the middle of the year to the fall, hopefully we'll have most of the population vaccinated. And so we know a lot of these businesses, they just got to hang on. They need to bridge the gap, like with so many other issues. So we'll see another round of stimulus checks, $600 per individual. Your average family of four will get $2,400. Obviously, that'll help boost demand for business as well as help people pay some bills. We wanted it to be $2,000, and a bipartisan group of us voted for $2,000 with the Cash Act after the enactment of this law, the new coronavirus relief law. That did not pass in the Senate, and so we will push for that again in this new 2021. Other key provisions. There's funding for transportation for Lynx and Sunrail and Citrus Connection that'll help folks get to work. We have a re-upping of funding for our food banks like Second Harvest and others. That money had run out a week or two ago, and we know folks who are out of work right now. That's a real lifeline. We have $25 billion in housing assistance funds. Those funds will go directly to the local governments. So you'll apply with Orange County or Osceola County or Polk County in my district, and we're able to lower the county population threshold to 200,000, which is big news for Osceola County because they had to go through the state with the CARES Act funds. And of course, that's been a debacle. They've gotten about half the funds and have to do reimbursements for the rest. They're going to get this housing funding directly this time. And that was something we worked on quite a bit.
Sorry, go ahead.
Wait, there's more. In addition, there's $82 billion to reopen schools and for education for K through 12. We know that's a huge issue. We could have seen huge layoffs to teachers, and we still need sufficient technology. So we're going to help with our schools reopening. So whether it's individual relief, whether it's housing or food, whether it's transportation or education, and of course, our small businesses, there's going to be a lot to help out. And we're also helping out nonprofits like Chambers through the small business paycheck protection program. So many in the NGO space will now be eligible.
So that all sounds good and greatly appreciated. And that is a done deal. So I understand some checks have already been received by folks. And of course, with the PPP, that's an ongoing process. And it is needed. I think we all know that. And so appreciate you and Congress recognizing that. We have ongoing races in Georgia on the Senate side. And then, of course, the potential after the vote this week on the Electoral College, potentially a new president being sworn in, likely a new president being sworn in. Does that, what does the outlook say January 21 if everything goes the Democratic way? Are there things in the pipeline ready, like you said, to hit the desk January 21 and get done?
Sure. So whether we have a narrow Democratic majority in the Senate and House and Democratic president, or we have a narrow Republican majority in the Senate, we know we're going to have to work together. Our nation's in crisis. This is the worst pandemic in 100 years with a terrible economic fallout that's particularly hurt our region since tourism is one of our biggest industries. And so it'll continue to be that focus for the first few months, definitely looking for potentially another COVID relief package for both continuing the funding to respond to the coronavirus, as well as further economic relief. We could see things not get back to normal until the middle to fall of this year. And so we know we're going to have to help the nation out with that. Another big issue we're hoping to grapple with in the first 100 days, and I know we'll be serving it up out of the House, is a major infrastructure package. We already passed the Moving Forward infrastructure package, the first national infrastructure package passing a chamber in literally decades, $1 trillion package that would really be the resources that would get Beyond I-4 Ultimate moving, as well as the extensions to Sunrail, and certainly complement Brightline's efforts right now as they're going with nearly high-speed rail from Miami now being built to Orlando and then soon out to Tampa. So as we look at one of the biggest challenges of our region, traffic, and what that means for business and really for our quality of life, this could be a big boost for that. In addition, we had housing funds included in the Moving Forward Act as part of our infrastructure. Affordable housing, another key issue for the area, particularly in Osceola County. You know, the secret's out. People want to live in Central Florida, and they're moving here every day. We're going to grow 20% from 2010 to 2020, and had great responses to our census, both in Osceola, Orange, and in Polk, had increases in all those areas, including a 7% increase in the response in Osceola County, the 58% response up from 51 in 2010. So we know we need more affordable housing for the area. And of course, higher paying jobs is a huge issue. And there was a big win that we had. The NDAA passed at the last moment out of the Senate. The House and the Senate, Democrats and Republicans came together to override President Trump's veto, which both parties considered inappropriate because it was dealing with unrelated internet protection issues. Why is it important for Central Florida? One, we got the Chips for America Act in there. That's going to help with the new Skywater project with Bridge as they're doing microelectronics. I've spoken to Skywater and the folks at Bridge. This is a huge win for us because it creates more tax incentives to bring those key microelectronic manufacturing incentives back to the United States, make those chips and those microelectronic packages and other things right here in America, right here in Osceola County. In addition, we included my amendment to the NDAA, which included microelectronics and sensors as one of the areas of concern for the military. And so we now have in the NDAA a focus on sensors and microelectronics, an issue we worked on in a bipartisan fashion, along with blockchain issues we worked on to help boost cybersecurity, which is really key given the cybersecurity issues we saw with Russia. So some key economic drivers in the NDAA for Osceola County that we're really excited about to put us in a good position for 2021.
So you talked about Bridge at NeoCity and the new potential partner in Skywater. I just want to publicly provide accolades to you personally in your individual efforts to make that as successful as it can be. I was privileged to be part of the phone call you had with Skywater on their visit here, and I know they're close to finalizing the deal, but you're a game changer, and I just want to publicly acknowledge that and express our gratitude for your efforts there.
Thanks, John. Both Senator Rubio and I and Representative Murphy have worked very closely on the Bridge project, particularly through the NDAA with these key bills and amendments. And obviously, as you're aware, Senator Rubio and I both had individual calls. We want to keep this bipartisan, and we have to bring more of these sensitive technology manufacturing capacities back to the United States, whether it's military defense, or whether it is communications and telecommunications, or even pharmaceutical production. That doesn't mean we can't produce things other places in the world, but we have to have the capacity here in the United States, and we refer to them as trusted foundries, which is why Osceola is so well positioned, because it's been designated at NeoCity a trusted foundry with over $30 million in military contracts. But we need obviously a new partner in Skywater. I am very confident that deal will come through. And this is about long-term increasing more higher paying, high-tech jobs in Central Florida, a stone's throw away from Cape Canaveral, the busiest spaceport in the world, and right by the simulation and training cluster and medical city that we know in Orange County and Lake Nona and at UCF. So we really need to continue to diversify our economy, and this is a big part of it.
So you are on top of it, and by extension, your staff fully engaged here in the community. We can't thank you enough. Excited and grateful that you've been sent back to continue your work in Washington. Want to honor our viewers' time here. We're coming up on 15 minutes, so I'll give you the last word. Anything you want to sum up or draw particular attention to?
I recognize that both our district, our state, and our nation is still in the grips of a crisis. So many of you small business owners, I had a small business for over 10 years and made a payroll twice a month. I know what it's like. You're struggling right now, and we're with you. We're going to do everything we can in a bipartisan fashion. That doesn't mean that things won't be vigorously debated. That's what the Congress does. But at the end, we have and we will continue to come together to deliver for the needs of our people, of our businesses across Central Florida, and look to the future with key investments in infrastructure and technology to continue to increase the quality of life, higher paying jobs, affordable housing, infrastructure, and protecting our beautiful home here in Osceola County. It's an honor to be your neighbor, and it's an honor to be your representative.
Well said. Again, we thank you for being a champion for business and community. We thank Disney for sponsoring today, as well as a champion for business and community. And all our members and viewers out there, thanks for being a part of making this community great. We'll see you next week. Thank you, Congressman. Appreciate you very much, and good luck in this new Congress to you.
Thanks for having me, John.